Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Chapter 19. We're doing the survey of vertebrates. We've talked about the fish, we've talked about the amphibians, we've talked about the reptiles. Now let's talk about birds. Class Aves, there's about not quite 10,000 species of birds, but remember there's only about 10,000 species of reptiles, so just as many species of birds as there are snakes and lizards. To be a bird, you have to have feathers. All birds have feathers. Most birds can fly. Do you know any birds that can't fly? No, chickens can fly. They just don't do it very well. What are some birds that don't fly? Birds that don't fly are like ostriches, like emus. There's a whole big group of birds that don't fly. They're called penguins. Penguins don't fly, though it could be argued that they fly in the water. Anyway, birds. Most birds can fly. Because most birds can fly, they have to reduce weight. If you've ever flown, you know that airlines charge you for everything. Your bags can only weigh so much, and if you check a bag, they charge you for even more. They want to reduce weight, reduce weight, reduce weight. The reason why the airline wants to reduce weight is each pound they have to carry is more fuel, and fuel is expensive. So they want to reduce how much stuff you bring with you, so that reduce how much fuel they have to burn, and so therefore it increases their profit margin. Birds have to reduce weight. Because they want to reduce weight, they don't have any teeth. Teeth could be heavy if they can add up. They have reduced tail bones. They don't have big long tails, like a dog or a cat or a horse does. Feathers are hollow. Their bones are hollow. All of these structures reduce the weight of the animal to make it so that they can fly. Flying is something interesting. The most successful group of animals on the planet can also fly. Those are insects. Insects are the most successful group of animals on the planet. What gave them their success? Wings is what gave them their success. Birds are really successful because they can fly. Birds came from dinosaurs. About 3 or 4 years ago, it was kind of a big deal when we found out that T-Rex probably had feathers. Doesn't that just change your image of Jurassic Park now? Imagine it's not just T-Rex jumping in to save the day, but it's a giant big bird T-Rex jumping in to save the day. T-Rex probably had feathers. Deal with it. Second, if birds probably came from dinosaurs, what are birds' closest relatives on the planet today, then? I never really gave that a whole lot of thought until I heard that they were trying to say that birds probably their closest relatives were probably reptiles. And I said, no, birds aren't related to reptiles. Not at all. You ever seen a bird's legs? What do they look like? Covered in scales, aren't they? Kind of like a reptile. Birds' closest relatives today are actually crocodilians. I didn't want to believe it, but it's true. There's too many similarities. Crocodilians will build a nest, as in like they will create a artificial structure to lay their eggs in. A lot of other reptiles just dig a hole. Crocodilians don't do that. Alligators, they build a debris nest. Males are vocal. Male alligators are, and they defend a territory. They have quite a bit of parental care. The mother will defend her nest and defend the territory. It's kind of a big deal, and birds, their closest relatives are crocodilians. Here we see some beautiful birds. When we talked about the amphibians a few slides ago, we said that, hey, look, if something's really pretty, if it's really trying to show off its colors, it probably means that it's toxic. And is it toxic? No, birds aren't toxic. There are no venomous birds. There are a couple birds that have poisonous feathers, meaning if you handle the feathers, they can make you sick to your stomach, like none in America, but still. So why are these birds then so colorful? And the answer is because of that thing that they can do that other things can't do. What can birds do that most other things can't do? They can fly. Because they can fly, they don't have to worry about predators. If a predator is going to go after a bird, what does the bird do? It just takes off. It just flies away. So they can be pretty. Because if they're pretty, then they can advertise how healthy they are to their mate. And, for example, the hummingbird or the pheasant, really good example. If you've got a bird species and the males and females are different colors, one of them is really brightly colored and pretty, the other one is very boring and drab. Which is which? Is the female the really pretty one and is the male the really boring one? No. The male is the really pretty one and the female is the really boring one. The male is having to show off for the female, to show how pretty he is, to show how healthy he is. We talked about this with frogs, right? The female is interested in how healthy the male is, because if he's healthy, then he can give those genes to their babies. Interesting thing about birds is amongst animals, birds are more common. The male is more common to stay around and help the female than in most other groups of animals. And so if he's really healthy, he's really more likely to stick around and to help mom take care of the babies and feed the babies and care for the babies. So why are they pretty? They're pretty for two reasons. They're pretty because they can be, and they're pretty to advertise their health. Look at how healthy I am. Look at that big, beautiful bald eagle. Gorgeous thing. Gorgeous thing. Our last class of animals are the mammals. To be a mammal, you've got to have hair. They're named after these things called mammary glands. Mammary glands are specifically for making milk. We are the only we are the only class of animals that do this, that have this structure. Class Mammalia. About 5,500 species of mammals, give or take. I forgot to show you the birds. Class Aves, 9,500 species. Class Mammalia, about 5,500 species, 5,400 species of mammals. This is our last class. Yay! To be a mammal, you have to have hair and mammary glands. The job is to make milk. That is what the class gets its name from, are these really special structures that no other organisms possess. No other animals possess these things called mammary glands. The really important thing about this is that it lets the babies be babies for longer. A baby bird has to pretty much instantly be digesting proper food because mom can't make any food for the baby. A baby lizard, a baby snake has to instantly be able to digest proper food. Not only digest, but hunt their own food. Some birds, the babies are fed a kind of milk that's made in the mother or father's stomach that they then regurgitate. But there's most birds, it's not that way. They have to immediately digest proper food. Like imagine a sparrow bringing back a bug to the baby bird. The baby bird has to digest that. Mammals, mom can eat, and then she makes this really easy to digest stuff called milk. And so the babies are able to be babies longer, they're able to develop longer, and the longer a baby stays in the mother's care as a general rule, the better chance the child has at survival. This wonderful thing called milk. Hairs, scales, and feathers, mammals, birds, reptiles, are all made of the same stuff, and they're made up from the same basic organ. A nail bed, a hair follicle, a feather bed, a scale bed, it's all the same basic structure, and they're made out of the same stuff called keratin, showing that they're related to each other. Mammals have specialized teeth. If we look inside of an alligator's mouth, they've got lots of teeth in there, but are the teeth different? And the answer is no. The teeth inside of an alligator's mouth are not different. They're different sizes, but they're all the same shape. Inside of a shark's mouth, the teeth, are they different? Inside one shark's mouth, again, there'll be different sizes, but they're all the same shape. What about the teeth in your mouth? What about the teeth in a dog's mouth? Are they all the same shape? And the answer is no, they're not the same shape. Think of a dog's mouth. They got those 4 little teeth in the front. They got the sharp canines, and then those mountain-looking sharp molars in the back. Same thing with you. An animal's teeth is its toolbox. An animal's teeth are its knife and fork and spoon. And the teeth that they have determine what kind of food they can eat. And if you got specialized teeth, you can eat different foods. And the more different foods you can eat, the better off you're going to be. Which is why we've got these scissors in the front and these grinders in the back. So we can eat meat and we can eat grains. More different foods you can eat, the better off you're going to be. Having specialized teeth is a major advantage.